All right, so important. Don't try to buy a home blind.
Don't do it.
Why would you blindfold yourself and drive a car? You wouldn't. Would you ride your bike? No. Would you go for a run around the block? No, you wouldn't. So why on earth would you make one of the largest investments of your entire life without knowing anything going into it? That makes no sense. So what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about qualification. What you desperately need to do first is figure out what you know. And I promise that given that all the rates change and the prices of the homes and where you're going to purchase your home, all those things change on a daily basis. So what you desperately need to do first as a buyer is you need to talk to a lender and get qualified. And you need to do it with a human. Don't go to bankrate.com and say, well, this is what it says my payment can be, because those engines online don't take into account property taxes and they don't take into account prevailing rates and insurance, particularly insurance, because going from place to place can depend on what your insurance rates are. So really the big variables that Bankrate and those guys can't handle are the insurance and the property taxes. So your lender can help you with that, at least get a better guesstimate of what it's going to be, giving you an idea of what your payment's going to be. Now, once you have a payment, you can determine what your price point, what segment of the market you're going to look at. Are you going to be looking at, $500,000 homes? Are you going to be looking at $1 million homes? You don't know that. And this is what I'm saying. Don't try to do this blind. It's just going to frustrate you. You're going to create a scenario for disappointment. It's going to frustrate your realtor. And frankly, it's going to frustrate your lender. Do this first. Get qualified. And then you can decide where you want to look and what you want to look at as far as home buying is concerned.
So guys, start with a lender, have your credit pulled, have a conversation about your credit, see if there's any issues, get the payment that you're comfortable with. Just because you qualify for a payment doesn't mean that's going to be the payment that you want to write that check out for every single month for 30 years. Get with an honest lender, have them go through everything with you beginning to end. As Mike says, don't go in it blindfolded. It's not pleasant on anyone.
When we talk about being blind, what am I really trying to say here? What I'm trying to convey to you is that you need to know what you don't know. And considering all of these things change on a daily basis, it's impossible for you to know unless you're working with somebody, a lender, that can help you. So let's do this. Staci, what is it that I need to do first? What's the very first thing I need to do? I'm online, I'm looking at houses. What should I do?
Okay, so first and foremost, you need to get with a lender. Call me, DM me, have your credit pulled. You're going to do what's called an application, and that's going to give us your full name, date of birth, social, any kind of debt you have, that kind of stuff. That will allow us to pull in a whole overall picture to say, okay, this individual will qualify for this specific amount of money. We do a thing called debt ratio. Debt ratio is how much money you have coming in opposed to how much debt is going out. That's a huge piece to the puzzle, because if someone tells you, if I just ask you how much debt you have and you tell me and there's something on your credit, it's a totally different game. So you're not really getting a full picture of what a qualifying is doing. So coming to a lender is you don't want to go in blindfolded, because it could set you up for failure. It could set your realtor up to be very upset, as well as the lender, of saying you can qualify for something that you cannot.
So here's the deal. From my point of view on the real estate side, I'm not concerned about all of those things. Frankly, I shouldn't be involved in any of that. That is a conversation you're going to have with your lender. I don't need to know, and again, I don't want to know. But what I do want to know is that we're not driving all over town looking at homes that either you would never consider because the segment that you qualify for it doesn't offer any options for you that you would live in, or they're so expensive that you couldn't afford them anyway. That's where the realtor comes in as far as disappointment's concerned. The other part too is if you're looking at $50 million homes, all of a sudden you qualify for a $600,000 house, you're going to be profoundly disappointed at the difference in the level. So it's best to start at the segment that you qualify for. If there's something wrong, if there's something that can be fixed on my credit, are you going to help me with that?
I'm not going to do it, but I can advise you to what my opinion is to do that, to fix it.
Excellent.
So what Mike's trying to say is just make sure you're prepared when you go to buy a home. Don't go in blindfolded. Get qualified for what you actually can pay and what you're comfortable with paying. lenders, we tend to, we're going to believe what you tell us, right? So of course we're going to believe you, but we do need the whole picture. Not that you're going to lie, but we need the whole picture of what can you actually qualify for. We take everything into consideration. As Mike had mentioned, the property taxes, the homeowner's insurance,
Right.
homeowners association, those are key points. And the numbers that we're talking about here is in Phoenix, Arizona. So, you know, there's other states that you could be at 250,000, 300,000. We're throwing a number out there of the 600, the 50 million. We are in Phoenix, Arizona. That's why those numbers are being thrown out there. That's the only reason. So first and foremost, do an application with a lender. You may call me. I will help you. Get qualified on know what you're going to pay, because it isn't always right when you call a 1-800 number, for instance. That 1-800 number is like a call center instead of a human. So that goes back to you meet with a human, basically, opposed to the 1-800 number.
My personal experience is I want to, first and foremost, my preferred experience is to have a human in front of me that I can talk to, because a lot of times there are things that I haven't even thought about that I will add to the conversation that end up being important, and I didn't realize it. The other part is when you click on the get a loan button or get some money, you have no idea who you're speaking with, and if they're even in the continental US. Nothing wrong with that, but it's a little different than, how do I get my computer to work? There's a lot to it. There are a lot of moving parts. You're going to get to know this person. This person is going to learn things about you that are deeply personal. Your lender is who I'm talking about.
They're going to walk you through that process.
Right, and so it's key. So again, don't go in blind. Don't handicap yourself when you're trying to hopefully buy a home. And I want you to have a home. So there you go.
There you go. Don't go in blindfolded.